Right behind me was how last week's painting dried. Am I happy with last week's painting? So you're probably thinking a little bit like me. I love the sort of texture and the effects of the background, but the actual mark making for this centerpiece is just a little bit too messy in my eyes. There's no sort of structure of an abstract painting there. I was just applying the paint onto the actual canvas in this middle section, and I wasn't really thinking about sort of structure and composition and where your eye is sort of going. So yeah, to me, I'm not really happy about this middle piece, but as I say, the background and the effects in the background, absolutely love. I think that's something that I need to work on, is basically trying to understand the structure of a painting. Now, it's not to say that it's wrong, it's just my sort of view on how I sort of picture an abstract painting to be. So yeah, I suppose that's what this channel is all about, where I'm documenting every single piece of art that I create. I'm not always going to be happy with the end result, such as this one. The most important thing that you can do, and what I can do as well, is erase this sort of from my head, this mistake from my head, and start another painting, and try not to make that same mistake which you did previously on your next piece of art, because that's what it's all about. It's all about sort of learning from your mistakes and then creating the next piece that you are really happy with. Now then, one of you commented down below, I've been using Floetrol, and Oetrol or Floetrol should only be used if you're doing acrylic pouring, because what it actually does when you're just doing an abstract painting, such as the way that I'm painting, apparently it dulls the paint colour down. Now, what that person suggested using is just PVA glue into the mix to help that flow. Apparently PVA glue doesn't dull down the colours, and it gives a bit of a satin finish, I think she was saying. So yeah, I'm probably going to try that as well in this one, just to sort of see how that medium pours into paint and how it sort of works with paint as well. So if you like the sound of all of that, then please, yeah, hit that subscribe button and get your paintbrush and bang that on the old bell notification, because you'll be reminded every single Wednesday at 8 PM when I release a new video to do with abstract painting. So all there is for you to do now is just to sit back, relax, and watch me paint a brand new painting using a combination of everything I've just spoke about.
It's gotta be against the law to look this damn good. Watch out now. Cause baby, I feel real good and I wish I would. Watch out now. It's gotta be against the law to look this damn good. Watch out now. Everybody watch out. Watch out now. I'm ready for a good time, and I came to groove. The whole band's here and we came to move. Got a fresh haircut and 2 new shoes. We're here all night like we got nothing to lose. I'm coming out the jacket cause we're turning up the heat. I wanna see you clapping when you get up out your seat.
I've got the canvas up on the wall again. It's another square piece.
Right, I'm just editing this video and I noticed I had a bit of white paint probably for quite a bit of this video. Happens to probably a lot of artists out there, but I do apologise. Try to ignore it.
Yes, I know I'm doing a lot of square pieces. Can't help it. This will probably be a 2-session painting, and I'm going to probably apply like the background effect to this painting first, and then go over the top with my other technique, how I paint as well. I've got some paint poured out on the palettes, and we're going to get cracking on with this painting. So I'm starting off with just white and Payne's grey with a bit of silver in there. I've completely wet the canvas and just big brush strokes up and down the whole entire canvas. As I say, this is just creating that background layer. I've also got some buff titanium as well in the mix, but just a real small amount. So some of that I'll probably show through on this.
We'll be here for a summer, then we're gone. We'll be here for a sunrise, then we'll fly. How much time do you reckon we have?
Okay, so now I've got my initial paint on the canvas. Just picking up on some of that Payne's grey and just blasting in some colour here and there.
Days would you say that
Right, so with that technique that I was talking about, I'm just going to wet a tissue and I'm just going to apply some texture into the paint as well. Again, this is like the background layer, so I'm just creating some interest of texture that's going on, different patterns. It's really nice when you pick up on some paint and you sort of apply it over some of the lighter areas. I just wanted to take away quite a big section of paint, so it's just dry tissue, and because the paint's quite wet it will sort of pick up and pull it off of the canvas. That's that first stage complete. It wasn't difficult. You do, however, when you're painting this sort of size, you do need an awful lot of white paint, so just remember that when you're buying paint. Tend to buy a bigger pot of white paint than all the other colours. And then that was just Payne's Grey and that buff titanium, and we sort of added that in there and sort of dabbed it out with the paper towel. So I'm going to let that dry, then we're going to come over and sort of go in with layer 2, where we're going to apply my other technique where I'm not sort of dabbing the paint and I'm using the brush strokes to mix the paint on the canvas and create the effect, the desired look that we want to go with this piece. So I've let that dry overnight. It's completely dry and I've mixed up on the palette. I've got some blue out there and I've mixed it in with some of that buff titanium, so some of this yellow colour. You could just use yellow, and I've created like a grey blue type of colour, and I'm thinking a big block of colour down this side. I think this is going to be like a vertical piece rather than a landscape piece. Yeah, I just want to create some areas of interest, a bit of a design down this side, and we'll probably go over the top again with a darker colour. I'm building up the lighter layers first to then create the contrast to turn this into an abstract piece. So let's see how this turns out. I'm using a whacking great big, it's like a cake knife, this one, just to get the paint on there.
Travel far, now retreat. I've longed for this place for so long. Now I lay me down and be long. And I breathe in the air fresh from the blessed Midwest. I am held by the forest where I go for rest, and washed by the waters of Lake Michigan. And wherever I go, I will return again to mine.
So now I've got a little bit of paint on there. I'm just going to wet it and sort of blend some of this into the background.
Blessed Midwest. I am torn, I am bleeding. See many souls, many holy. Remember their faces in hope. Oh, till we meet again, till we meet.
Really going to wet this area here. I've got the paint on there now, but I just want to sort of lift off some of that paint in some certain areas, and that will start to get the design of your abstract piece as well. We spent time yesterday getting that base layer behind it, so you still want elements of that to sort of show through in places.
blessed Midwest. I'm held by the forest where I go for rest and washed by the water.
So just by subtracting some of that paint, you can start to create your design and your form of the actual painting. So yeah, don't get disheartened when you stick your paint on there. Don't just look at it and think, oh, this is rubbish, and you need to start again. Start subtracting some of that paint and you can create that sort of initial composition of your piece. Now I'm thinking I want a darker section down this side. I still will work on this side, probably by adding some lighter areas, but I want to try and get a feeling for this side. The paint also running down, I really think adds to it as well. And there's some real deep, thick texture pieces in there as well. Still use the same blue, but I've just added in some Payne's grey just to sort of darken it down.
Again, you have gone straight to my head. Take the pills and go to bed, but I'm still hooked on it. Well, you are sacred in a way. Don't know God, but still have faith that He will manifest some way when I am next to you. I asked your father.
I always try and step back from the piece and try and look for areas that I dislike and I want to try and adapt. And you also want to try and make your eye not to sort of go around the painting too much. You want to try and let it focus in on certain areas to think, oh, I really like that. So for instance, like these dark effects over this white colour, and I think your eye sort of takes this all in as one chunk, which is pretty good.
Talk of moving every day, but who are we kidding?
There's one last thing that I want to add to this. I want to go in with some white paint over the top of this area here, and then add some of that white paint highlights in this dark section to then tie those two pieces in together. But in terms of the composition, love this sort of area with the background marking behind it. I think that works really well, and there's some real thick paint in some of these areas, and the colours with the hint of the yellow in the background as well, I think are working really well. But yeah, I just want to sort of lighten up this side. So what I've done is I've loaded up a load of white paint on my tile adhesive squeegee, and we're going to apply that all the way down this side.
Hope he sends me back a few more years. I'll be buried next to you. The world will keep on turning to. But if I am next to you, I do not care. I do not care.
Okay, for this side we're going to use the trick that you've seen me do before, and that's to load up a metal rule or a straight edge or anything with a load of white paint, and then we're just going to align that and then hit it. So another little tip I like to do when I'm doing an abstract painting is get your camera open on your phone and take a photo. So by looking at it on an actual phone rather than in real life, it In real life it sort of distracts you a bit because of the size of it, but if you take a picture on your phone it reduces everything and you can sort of see where you want to apply some more colour or lighten up some sections or sort of go over the top of some pieces. But for me, this one is done. There's some really nice mark making on this. There's some certain areas that it draws your eye into, and that sort of layer behind sort of takes you in as well. I think it's, yeah, really modern, really contemporary, totally abstract, which I absolutely love. And yeah, once this is dried, mounted, varnished, it will look absolutely stunning. Going to be signing this one down the bottom as well. This will be live on our website, so you can purchase this original piece, or we actually do 25 limited edition prints of this as well, which are all hand signed and certificated as well. If you are into your abstract art just as much as me, every single Wednesday I release a video. I record every single painting that I do and release it once a week. Nothing is practiced outside of that one painting a week, and it's that commitment to me producing a painting once a week I think helped me sort of grow over time in terms of my technique and skills. So yeah, if you want to join me on that journey, all you got to do is subscribe, give this one a like or give this one a thumbs down so I can gauge whether you like this piece or you dislike this piece. That's a great way of me knowing if you like my work. And if you like your abstract paintings as much as me, then YouTube is suggesting your next video right here.